What is up, you guys? I'm new to the YouTube community and wanted to provide some Pacific Northwest gardening tips and tricks, because definitely gardening up here in the Pacific Northwest isn't easy. And so when I started my gardening hobby, I had to do a lot of research to get where I'm at right now. And I feel like a lot of people on the YouTube community don't say, where they're located or what zone they're in, or like the date listed that they officially started planting these plants that they show beautifully. And nothing against those people, but it was just really hard to start my garden without knowing that information. So I'd love to just share with you guys my experience and me gardening up here in the Pacific Northwest. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, and I would love to show you guys my garden and what I have right now. So yeah. Okay guys, we are back in the greenhouse here, and the sun just decided to come out. Anyways, so we're back after the tour in the garden. I wanted to plant some seeds today, which they are around here somewhere. I think they snuck off. I'll have to find them. Found them! Alright, so a couple things that we'll be doing today. I do have winter spinach, but we'll have to wait on that. See if we can get that to focus. Okay, so we have some spinach up first. I don't want to plant this because this is probably gonna molt. So we have some spinach here. And then we have some beets. I have been, this is my first year doing these, and I like them. Here are the carrots. So these are ox hearts. They're by Territorial Seed Company, if I can pronounce that. Ox heart is really, it's short and stubby. It doesn't get really long. It gets short and fat. And we'll be going over the backs of these here in a second. But they are great if you want to do container planting for carrots, and that's my plan for these, because I don't have a long enough grow season, because our first frost date is in October, and that's just not long enough. So yeah. I just like kale. We can start this now. Kale is pretty tolerant of heat, because right now it's been averaging 80 to 90 degrees a day, so that's gonna be great. And then I don't want to start this today. I really don't want the lettuce to molt today, which is basically when either spinach or kale goes into like a flower and then it stops producing, kind of like basil. So I think I'm gonna wait. It's still a little too hot to plant lettuce. Yeah, so we'll go over the backs of these and a little bit more about them. Alright guys, so these are the ox hearts. They just tell you a little bit about them. The thing that we're really conscious about as gardeners is your maturity days. So basically, it's going to be 80 to 90 days before you can harvest these guys. And these are the short, stubby size ones. Yeah, they tolerate heavy soils better than most, but also grow well in sandy soil types. They grow well in both, but It's just a lot better to grow these short stubby ones, because here in the Pacific Northwest we have clay soils. And so here on the back there's some vital information. Seed depth, as long as you don't plant them too deep, they should be fine. Seed spacing, 4-inch, pay attention to that. These things do get pretty fat. And then just like the soil germination. So like right now, 85, I'm going to keep them out of the greenhouse. Yeah, and there's just some growing tips and stuff which I love that they include. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So today I'm actually only going to plant carrots and beets. I was going to plant kale because kale's a little bit more heat tolerant and cold tolerant, but it's still a little too hot, unfortunately. Germination, the sow temp is 55 to 75. It's still a little too hot for them, so I don't think I'm going to plant those, even though I use kale a lot for when I'm juicing, so I'd really love some kale, but it's just not going to happen. So I'm going to wait a couple more weeks just for it to cool down. So a couple things you'll need are some gloves. And then, so I recommend beginner gardeners starting with a seed soil mix. Miracle-Gro has a seed soil mix. And then, but my favorite, which I don't have any left, I love Edna's Best, but usually they're in really big bags, so that's up to you if you want to buy. And this one's potting soil. This is not seed starter. Even though it has quite a bit of perlite and stuff, you could probably use this as a seed starter. So I might be using a little bit of that. I also have some compost right behind me here, right in this tub right here. I recommend compost so much because it cuts down on food waste, and you don't feel bad throwing food in there because it's going into your garden. And all that like molted spinach and lettuce can go straight to the compost, and then it's giving back to your plants, so you're not fertilizing as much. Sorry if I'm going through this so quickly. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. So again, these pots are going to be for the carrots and the beets, just because this is going to be like their permanent home for them. I'm going to leave them outside and let them germinate outside because it's getting too hot in the greenhouse for them, and it's not worth keeping the greenhouse cool if I just have these guys in here. And so I'll show you guys. I'll be mixing some seed starter with some compost. You do not need to use compost if you don't have any. You can just use seed starter. Your seedlings won't need fertilizer until they get their true leaves. Usually they'll have a first 2 leaves and then they'll get their actual leaf, and that's when you can start fertilizing. I do have a recommended fertilizer. Honestly, I love FoxFarm, their Grow Big, and be careful not to use too much fertilizer or you can burn the seeds or the plants, depending on what comes first. But yeah, you can burn the plants. So just be careful. They do have instructions for if you are watering seedlings. It's a half a teaspoon per gallon of water once per week, which is great. This plant food is a 644 on the NPK scale. If you were planting kale or something, you could use this small pot and then transfer out when they're big enough. You do not want to get seeds root bound. They'll stop growing and they'll get all scraggly. And I'm just gonna fill half the pots with this. And beware, there's a lot of insects in here, which is totally fine for compost. Filled all of my pots up. I just want to make sure you guys see this. I didn't fill them quite all the way because these are pretty big pots. So we have these filled up. I'm gonna open up the carrots and the beets and show you guys how to plant them. Super easy, super simple. If your soil had any kind of fungus or mold, I would recommend sanitizing it by putting boiling water in it. Yeah, you just use boiling water instead of regular water without the seeds. You want to do that beforehand. I really suggest for beginner gardeners to start out with a seed starter rather than doing compost and seed starter. I want to do my carrots first. So best way to open seed packets is not to rip them open. We are going to just peel this back. It's the easiest thing. There are tools for seed spreading, but I have small hands, so this should be really easy for me. So you just want to open it like that, and there's the seeds in there. For each pot, I'm probably, let's see, I'm probably only going to do 4 in each pot. Which I'm probably going to do a couple more just in case if they don't germinate. The reason why I wanted to plant beets and carrots inside is because our first frost date is in October, and it takes 90 days to grow these carrots until they're ready to harvest. So my plan to do is I'm going to plant these guys outside, like if they were growing in a garden, and then before it freezes, I'm going to bring them in the greenhouse and extend their harvest period because it was too hot to plant, you know, a few weeks ago. Some places it's already cooled down enough, just here it's too hot. If I were to get carrots, you know, that matured in 60 days, I could probably do it like these beets. These falcons, they are ready to harvest 55 to 60 days, so they would have been fine outside. I just, like my beets that I planted in last spring, there's still some beets out there and they're still delicious. They softened up to a point, but then they just keep growing and they keep maturing and they taste great. So I just like having beets like year round. You know, you can always put 1 in and hope for the best, but I just do 2 so I don't have to go back. And so just spreading them out, make sure they have enough room. And so those are there now. So let's go ahead and do our next pot. I'm going to set this one aside. Let's do this one. And I'm going to get a couple more seeds here. I got 4 left in my hand, so let's just put these in. Remember, not too deep. That's like every gardener's like first mistake is that they plant these seeds too deep. So 2 and 2. And 2. Alright, so that's it for the carrots. I was planning to do 2 pots for the carrots and 2 pots for the beets. Okay. So it's super simple. Beets are going to be the same way. Beets you can plant a little bit closer just because beets kind of grow on top of each other. Yeah, super easy. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to water these guys, and then I'm going to set them outside, and I will do a check-in video with you guys. So that should be fun. If you guys have any questions about anything, I will do my best to answer them or give you my input. Remember, I'm doing this as a hobby, so I don't know right from wrong yet. I've been doing this for a couple years, so I know quite a few things and quite a few tricks, but I don't know everything, and I may not be right all the time. So, you know. Alright, well, if you guys could give this video a like, that would be great. I guess I'm just trying to grow my channel, and not necessarily grow my channel, but I want people to see my videos. I want people to get enjoyment out of my videos. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Should I do like guns for my outro? I don't know what to do. I really don't know. So like boom boom, you know, like how some people have like just like a unique outro.